Hi, my name is Wen. I'm a Malaysian documentary filmmaker and journalist. I got into documentaries when I won the BMW Shorties in 2010, and for the past 10 years I've made documentaries, produced, directed, filmed, wrote, edited for broadcast, digital platform, and I also made a feature documentary. I make films about things and people that I'm curious about because documentaries are essentially a window to a world that we never knew about. So, currently I'm working with producers from New Zealand and Hong Kong. One of them is an Oscar winner, and I'm very fortunate to learn from them. And this project, it's been pitched in several forums and workshops. We won Best International Pitch in New Zealand. I was in the American Film Showcase program with the project, and I was learning from, again, Oscar-winning filmmakers at USC. And recently we got a grant from Hot Docs, so it shows that there are interest and potential for Malaysian stories. And through all these workshops, I also had the opportunity to meet with other documentary filmmakers to learn about their stories and their countries. And really, it's these people who actually keeps me going and inspires me to continue with my art. In Malaysia, it's difficult trying to make documentaries. It's a very new thing. Even until now, I've made a feature doc already, but still, I think there's a lack of understanding and also appreciation about what actually a documentary is. 5 years ago, I decided that I wanted to make a feature documentary for theatrical release. I was told that it was impossible and maybe try to scale my vision down a little bit. We made the film. It premiered in London. It played in several places in the UK. The gala premiere, it was very successful. The reviews from the media, the industry guests, and also just the audience themselves were great. I remember speaking to the FINAS team that night as well. But and despite all this, after the gala premiere, the film owners actually pulled it from the cinema. It was quite shocking because we got it was passed without any cuts by LPF. It was given the umum rating. We also got the FINAS wajib tayang, and then just later on, I just got a text message that the film owners allowed the film subjects to remove several scenes from the film, which was crucial to the storytelling. The quality of the edit was affected, and that was it. None of the creative people who actually worked on the film were consulted at all. I think it was really a first for me that film subjects are allowed to demand and dictate the content of a documentary. It's not a corporate video, and I think this experience shows that we need more education on documentary and journalism ethics. Also presenting my film, I've gotten questions that, people did not understand that the subjects are not actors. I've even gotten questions by members of the press themselves who were surprised that the film was unscripted. I did not direct the subjects. I just captured their life and reality as it is. There's a lot of education for stakeholders, for audience. I hope that we are moving towards changing this perspective, because now, with streaming platforms like Netflix, there are more opportunities to, more access to documentaries, but we do need that local product, not just watching international documentaries. I think I learn from every film that I make. I become a better and stronger filmmaker, and I think if I may say that, I guess the trauma of making my first film, it taught me a lot, and I learned that it's really important to work with producers who believe in you as a filmmaker, believe in your story, and I think really these are the people that I'm working with right now. We all learn from past experience, and if you ask how do I move on, how can we improve the system, it's gonna take a long time, but the start is to just have the right people with you. Both my projects, they have been pitched in the international forums and workshops, so there is a interest, there's a potential for it, but we need the funders, we need the stakeholders, and also we need the audience support. We need that space and the opportunity. We have a lot of talent here. We have a lot of Malaysian stories to tell. We just need the right support and the right platform for it. I am attracted to things and people that I'm curious about, and they all may have, could be a different gender, race, creed, political belief, social issues, whatever, in the film. But I think at the end of the day, we are all human beings, and I think that's what I try to show my subjects as just another human being like you and me, because because we all share the same emotions, we share the same struggles. So for example, next year there will be a film coming out. I did this with a German production company. It's a feature documentary of with 15 filmmakers around the world capturing stories during these COVID times. My story is actually about a blind telephone operator in a hospital. They are featuring stories from London, New York, Rome, Nairobi, Jerusalem, even the Amazon. So, with all these different stories, they are different people, but they're all dealing with the same thing, which is COVID, and then how COVID impacts their life. The subjects, they may go through the same emotions. I think it doesn't matter where you are. At the end of the day, we're all the same, and I think that's how I approach my subjects. There's many ways to tell a story. So whether you tell the story as a fiction or non-fiction, and I think that's the only difference here. Because in documentary itself also, there are many types of documentary. Could be music, could be nature, could be history, right? Same thing as fiction. At the end of the day, they're just all stories, but what is the best way and the best platform to tell it? I think one thing that filmmakers or documentary filmmakers really need is fortitude. It's not easy making a documentary when you are following the subject and you don't know what is the outcome when you follow them, and you spend years following them, and it could be at the end of the day there's nothing at all, right? I mean, don't even talk about the fundraising and those financing part. But your question about being a woman in a male-dominated industry, I think it's not unique to just filmmaking. I think unfortunately it is the same in a lot of industry all around. But like I said again earlier just now, I think it's very important that we find people that we can work with. I'm not saying that I've not gone through that struggles because of my gender. I try not to see that, I try not to blame it on my gender. It's just individuals, because I've worked with men who are very supportive, men who respect my vision, the producers that I have now, even my crew, most of them are men, but it's really up to individuals. At the end of the day, really, it's not about your gender, it's not about your race, it's about your individuality and what kind of values do you hold, and just find those people that have the same value, have the same passion as you, and I think you can make a good film from there. Documentaries is about real people. All the works I've done, whether it's a short, it's for TV or a feature, all these people that I've met, I've learned so much from them, from their history, from their stories, and I'm inspired by them as well. It teach me more about life, which I've not experienced before. And when we finally, make the film, and the feedback that we get from them, I think that's really something that is very fulfilling and satisfactory. For example, I think one of the things that happened earlier this year, I did like a news piece for about the Malaysians who were facing COVID. This was early back in March, April. And I interviewed someone in Spain, and that time there was like shortage of PPE and stuff like that. So after the story came out, then the lady told me that they've sent that story that I did, the documentary that I did, they sent it to the Malaysian embassy or something, and then the embassy managed to give them masks and everything. So for me to hear stories like that, I think it really kind of reminds me that despite how difficult, sometimes how tiring, and sometimes you feel like, oh, this is not so glamorous, that keeps you going, because you know that the stories you tell, it has helped someone even in a little, small little way.